Hello creators, how are you guys? I am so excited to hang out with you guys who are here live. And those of you who are listening to the podcast of this later, of course, as well. We are going to be diving into your questions about audience growth on YouTube. How do you grow an audience? How do you get people to discover your videos? How do you get them to keep coming back and watching more? How do you engage those viewers? How do you need to set up and position your channel so that those people have a very low bounce rate and actually stick when they discover you for the first time and want to keep coming back? And how do you do all that? And maybe you have some questions too about, like, I have a difficult audience. Like, there's just a lot of turnover and there's a lot of people who are coming for one thing and expecting one thing, but actually getting something else. And how do you handle all that? That's what I'm going to talk about with you guys today. And this is going to be a lot of fun. So if you are here on the live stream, Mondays, 2 p.m. Eastern time, good to see you guys here in the chat. Make sure you ask your questions in the chat. And my producer, Laura, is there, and she will get those in front of me, and we will answer them here today. And if you are listening to the podcast later, it's great to have you guys too. This show happens every Monday at youtube.com/video creators, and we would love to have you, get to know you, and have you join an awesome community of, I don't even know, usually several hundred YouTube creators who are here helping each other out, commenting, giving each other feedback and advice, and all the questions that I don't even get to, I don't get to answer. It's fun to see you guys in the chat chiming in and helping each other out. That's what a community is all about, right? So love that you guys are doing this. Thank you for being here, and looking forward to diving in. Now, before we dive in, we already got some questions here already queued up about YouTube algorithms and monetizations and things, which we're going to dive into here in a second. But before we dive in, I updated a few perks on my YouTube channel. If you click that join button, you'll see. And if you're listening to the podcast, there's a link in the show notes. You can just tap and get to it also. And one of the things I added is now tiers. There's now multi-layer levels of tiers that you get access to. This is a new feature that YouTube is experimenting with. It used to be that it was just one $4.99 a month tier, but now, as you can see on my channel, there's a $199 tier, a $4.99, a $9.99, and a $24.99 tier for access to different levels of perks and rewards and things like that. And so one of those tiers is the collaboration tier, which is what allows us to actually collaborate together. And so if you have a video idea that you want to suggest and you want to be a part of that video, you can join that tier. Send me your video question and I can make a whole video about it, which would be so much fun. Or also for these live streams and podcasts, you can also submit audio recordings of yourself asking questions. If you just want to do that real simply from your phone or whatever, there's a little link once you become a channel member that lets you do that pretty easily. And so if you got content that we don't get to here today, or maybe you're listening to this and you're like, they didn't really answer any, like, my question. Those are some pretty simple ways that you can get in front of my team here, and we can answer your question and integrate it into content that also gives you some exposure, which is cool too, right? Gives you an opportunity to kind of talk about you, introduce yourself to a other community of people, and hopefully that'd be helpful and beneficial for you also. So I can see there's already gonna be a ton of questions coming, which is gonna be great. And we've already got several queued up, and we haven't even started yet. So for those of you guys who are channel members, there's also that tier there, that $1.99 tier that gets you priority access to these live streams and the comments of videos. I mean, we get like 1,000 comments a day across, the different channels, so we can't keep up with all of them, but we do want to do our best to make sure that we get in front of those of you who are not just saying you're supporting us, by watching, which is helpful and great, and we love those people, but also saying like, hey, we want to help make this possible. I feel like I'm on like a PBS like news fundraiser thing right now, but you know what I'm saying. We will. That's part of that perk. That $1.99 perk is priority access to us, or my team, responding to your comments and answering questions on live streams like this, as well as in YouTube videos that we publish. So just give you guys a heads up. If you are a member, we will try to dive into your questions first. So let's dive in here. We got a couple good ones already here. And so Cooking Cube 123 asks, what does the YouTube algorithm want right now? The YouTube algorithm wants the same thing right now as it's wanted for a long time. So it is true that the YouTube algorithm changes constantly. And by that, I mean they are always running tests and experiments and trying new ideas and always trying to improve it, not necessarily across YouTube as a whole. They usually do it in very small segments of random people on YouTube. So that like sometimes like a 1% test would be a pretty big test, 2% that starts rolling out. And so most users will never even notice this, but they are always experimenting and trying new things. And last number I heard, they were experimenting with like 300 some different experiments a year. So they are not just kind of letting this thing rest. However, on the other hand, the algorithms, plural, are designed to be self-learning and kind of figure out what the goal is: serve the right video to the right viewer at the right time. That's the algorithm's goal. And that is far more complex than any of us probably realize in terms of what is the right video to the right viewer at the right time. And so that's really what the algorithm wants. And that's what it's trying to learn how to do all day, every day, while we sleep. How do we best deliver the right video to the right person at the right time? So how do they do that? Well, there's a lot of different things that go into it. And if you're asking this question, you're likely already familiar with some of the things that happen on a high level, which would be things about like getting people to watch your video, right? And getting people then to watch another video and increasing the viewing session and things. That is ultimately what Google wants, what YouTube wants, is video content that holds people's attention and keeps them watching longer. Because ultimately, and they probably wouldn't say it this way, and I agree that this isn't their ultimate goal, but there is a goal there that they want people to stay on YouTube as long as possible, watching as many videos as possible, engaging with as many different channels as possible, and seeing as many ads as possible. Right now, the search and discovery guys would say, no, ads has nothing to do with our algorithms, and that is totally, I trust them on that, and I haven't seen anything to indicate otherwise on my end. But whether it's motivated by monetization or not, that is still the goal, which is how do we continue to get so good at giving people the right video to the right person at the right time, and even to go as far as to say, like, how does this viewing session we're proposing to the viewer impact how they come back tomorrow and the day after that and next week, right? And not just videos and that holds their attention, but there's a satisfaction rating. Like they watched it, but at the end of it, do they feel like a little dirty and like I don't want to ever come back here, or do they feel like they're getting good value and they're highly satisfied with the content that they're watching that's bringing them back, right? So it can get there's a lot of rabbit trails to go down with it. But to answer the question and kind of like help you focus with your energy, where you should focus it, it should be focused on the three things that's kind of always been about, which is title and thumbnail, which get people into your content. Doesn't matter how amazing your content is if no one clicks in the first place, right? And then the third thing is holding someone's attention. Attention is the main currency of really any business or a platform or anything, even outside of YouTube. Like we're just talking marketing world, or even when you're walking down the aisle at the mall, like your attention, where can people grab your attention and hold it? That is the main currency. And so if you're going to focus on one thing on YouTube, like titles and thumbnails, of course, but then also like just learn how to tell a good story and how do you get someone to really care. And we've talked about that a lot in other episodes, so I won't go into it here too much, but what it boils down to is like primal branding. If you haven't read that book, really good about learning how to get people to care. And integrating all those things in your content will really help you grow, just as it has for a lot of other creators. But then how do you tell a good story about a character who wants something and overcomes conflict to get it and is transformed by the process, right? Like how do you rinse and repeat that over and over and over again? That's really what it comes down to. So that's what the algorithm wants right now. Yo-Yo Finds asks, how important is the length of the intro? I'm not sure what you mean by intro. If you mean by opening hook, like the first thing someone sees when they click play, that is very important in terms of how you craft it and how you hook the video to hold someone's attention. The length there isn't as important as that it does its job. So if it takes you 3 seconds to do that, great. If it takes you 15 seconds, 30 seconds, that's fine. Now, if it's 30 seconds of like me talking about how we're going to talk about the algorithm today, that might be a little bit unnecessary, right? So that's one way to look at it. So the opening seconds, the hook, that's kind of like more important that you hook their attention than how long you take it. But I think if you take too long though, if you're creeping up on like that 20, 30 second mark, at that point, there's probably an opportunity for you to whittle that down a little bit. Or at least figure out what you're doing to the point where you can figure it out. Now, if you're talking about the intro being the branded intro that someone sees when they, after the hook, and then they see a little branding, from my experience, that thing should be no longer than 5 seconds. 3 seconds is ideal. On my channel at Video Creators, our branded intros are 3 seconds long. So if you can keep them to 3 seconds, that's ideal. Anything longer than 5 seconds, you're going to start to see abandonment of your content. Now, the goal of that intro though isn't just to like flash your logo around for a little bit. The goal of that should be to pitch what your channel is all about to someone in your target audience. So it's not like hey, they've figured out how to make their logo do a fancy flip in the air. That's nice, right? It's about, like, for me, on my branded intro, very quickly in 3 seconds, it's master YouTube, spread your message, Video Creators TV, right? So that's like the what we're going to do, master YouTube, the why it matters, spread messages that reach people and change their lives, and then branding. So someone who's watching for the very first time can quickly be brought up to speed on what we're all about and what they're watching here. The Hungry Hussey. I try to get every person for every comment left. It's getting difficult to keep up with all the comments. How do you get the most people? How do you get to the most people of your community effectively? Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying earlier, is like we have a reward tier now on our channel, the $1.99 a month, with some other stuff with it, but that's part of what comes with it, which is like we're gonna try our very best to prioritize your comments and your questions and the live streams and the comments on videos above others. And that's not to say we value you more necessarily than someone who's not paying. It's just like there's got to be some way to pick. So it is difficult. I remember when I was first trying to figure this out, like 1,000 comments a day on YouTube. You can't possibly read all of them. So what do you do? And someone gave me the advice. They're like, Tim, just do for some what you wish you could do for many. So rather than not replying to anybody, just kind of keep up with the ones that you can. And for me, that tends to be the comments I'm getting in the first day or so, the video initially being published. After that, I'm kind of moved on to other things personally. So like when that video is first published, I try to get in there in that first hour and catch up on comments, and then I let it go, and then I'll come back a little bit later and try to catch up on more comments. And after about 24 hours later, so I'm probably not giving my attention to that video as much as I was in the beginning. That's how I do it. There's other people who will, like friends like Brooklyn and Bailey, Cute Girls Hairstyles. I just heard their dad this weekend talk about it at an event we were speaking at, about they still do what they call Power Hour, and that's the first hour of every video being published. They just sit down and they just respond to those comments, because the people who are like getting the notifications and getting that video early and responding right away or commenting right away, those are typically your more diehard fans, the people who are like really engaged, and those are the people that they have chosen, and I kind of do too, that really have chosen to like really dive in and really focus on those people and really give them the, the responses that we can give. So it's up to each person to kind of figure that out, but that's kind of how we do it. And hey, Nick, I saw you pop up in the chat. Good to see you, man. Nick Niman is here, and a lot of you guys are here. Crafty, Crazy Craft, Coffee Outdoor, Jelly Bean TV, Kodomoso, Pride Martial Arts, Doing Exploring, Weird Westerners, She Wolf. I can't even read off. New Life, Married Again. Good to see all of you guys. The Hearst family. So I'm looking forward to dive into more of these questions with you. Okay, so Kevin Pino, I think is how you say it. Should we make videos as a playlist always? Just get one-offs? I don't think you need to make a playlist always. I mean, yeah, the goal of the playlist is not what most people use it as, which is to organize content. I mean, you can use it obviously to organize content, but I think the goal of the playlist primarily to be a tool that gets people to watch one video, then another video, then another video. And so for me, it's a little less about like, let me make sure I get all my videos around this topic into this playlist, and more about like, hey, let me put my best 5 videos on this topic into this playlist so that they actually keep watching from one to the next, rather than just seeing like, oh, he has 56 videos on this topic. And then they're like, it's too long. I'm not watching that. I don't got time for that. Right. And they're out. So I don't know. You have to make a playlist always. You could skip them, I suppose. Yeah, I don't think all of my videos necessarily go into a playlist, although we do try to have enough micro playlists possible. By micro, I mean like really small, short, small playlists, only a few videos that are hyper-focused with a title that could almost serve as like a really good enticing title for a video that gets people into the playlist and then watching the 3 or 4, 5, 6, whatever videos that are in that playlist that are all my best material on that topic, rather than just giving them, here's everything, good luck, right? I'm doing it that way. Another one, Cookie Cubing 123. Is live streaming just as effective as it used to be? I mean, yeah, we've had a whole episode about this, about live streaming, which is like some people saying live stream will kill your channel. Don't live stream. It's, it hurts the algorithms or whatever. And as we've already discussed, the algorithms don't care if you live stream. They just care if you can hold someone's attention. If your live stream holds someone's attention, that will perform well, right? If it doesn't, that won't. So like, there's plenty of channels. Like there's entire genres on YouTube that are just 100% live streaming channels, like gaming, for example, or like workout with me, like exercise and fitness channels that'll live stream. Like some of those live stream fitness workouts will get tons of massive replay value. So I encourage people to think about live streaming not as like, does this help me grow or not, but does it help you serve people better or not? And the answer is yes, then do it, Now, I have noticed with my own live streams that I typically tend to archive these now. And so, like, instead of them going public and notifying all my subscribers afterwards, I just set that option to automatically make them unlisted, which is only because I've learned through watching my analytics for the past year that these aren't like, the replay value of these isn't that high. Like the value of this right now is being here in the live stream, being able to ask your questions and wondering, will my question get answered? And so you're hanging out waiting for that. Those questions, like no one's wondering that anymore in the live play. The people who are listening to the podcast recording of this, they're watching because they're just like, hey, I want to learn how to grow my audience. And I'm just kind of here to learn, right? And so it's a different value for those people than it is for those of you who are here in the live stream. And so live streaming is just a tool. And it's just like how you use it. So you don't go up on your roof to drive nails with a rake, and you don't go into your lawn to rake up the leaves with a hammer, right? It doesn't mean there's something wrong with the hammer, that it's super ineffective, and that the rake is doing nothing to drive nails. It's just like you're using a tool in a way it wasn't intended to be used. It's just not a valuable way to use it. So that's what it comes down to live streaming. Live streaming can be super powerful and very effective. It's like pretty much the only way to do what I'm doing right now is interact live with your audience at scale. Otherwise, you're just producing a piece of content and trying to catch up on comments after the fact. That's the only way we can kind of have like a mass one-to-many conversation and we can interact. So it is a very powerful and effective tool for that. Let's see, we've got a couple questions here around hashtags. Zaytar Gardens asks, are hashtags worth doing? And then Denise Mona, how do you know which hashtags to use for your videos? I mean, I haven't really seen a whole, I love if you guys are in the chat and you have seen a scenario of like hashtags actually being effective and doing something, I would love to hear about it. So yeah, make sure you comment and maybe we'll get some of those stories. Hashtags on YouTube, if you're not familiar, you can put them in the title of your video or you can put them in the description of your video. And when you do that, then if you put them in the description, then there's a little, like they become like clickable above, like right beneath the video title, but on top of the description. And people can click that and go see then all the other videos that are using that hashtag on YouTube. I haven't found that they've been like a huge traffic source necessarily. Like I don't know people who are just kind of clicking on hashtags and browsing them the way they do on Instagram maybe. It's it's just not part of the viewer behavior right now. It could become that maybe in the future. But my advice with hashtags is basically what YouTube says. because if they say it, then it's probably more accurate than whatever I say, right? So, which is like only use 1, 2, maximum of 3. If you use more than 3, the kind of the value of all of them goes down. So don't do that. Number 2 is that it's kind of more of a way of like organizing content. It could be almost seen as like a playlist kind of, except for it's an automated playlist that has everyone else on YouTube who is using that hashtag. So it's not like a huge tactic that we recommend in terms of growth and growing your channel and things like that. So I can see a lot of people here in the chat saying like Relaya. I personally never click on hashtags. Not sure that anybody else does. Ryan A. Raymond says, I have seen no benefit to hashtags myself. Elaine Smith says, I don't see hashtags showing up in my analytics. Lily Tree says, I couldn't quite see the value of hashtags in my videos. It just seems like that's kind of the trend. Construction Cronies. I think Construction Crony, you've been like one of the longest members of this channel. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. I've had 0% traffic from hashtags. I went from using just one for my channel. Okay, so you're using it as another way to kind of organize your channel. Tim from Wales says, hashtags are a good way to drive viewers to your own content. Use something unique for you. Okay, so it's like, yeah, so if you're the only one using that hashtag, then they could click that and go see other content from you. I kind of feel like there's other better ways to get people to watch other content from you, which would be like on your end screen, pointing them to another video, saying, hey, click here to watch this one next, or doing something like that. But yeah, it seems like most of you guys in the chat are saying, I'm not really getting anything from it. And that's kind of been my sentiment too. So, yeah, I think we use one called on our family's channel. We use hashtag family team because that's kind of like our creed in a way. But other people use that who have no idea who we are either. So, and we haven't seen anything come from that. Welcome to Hearst family. Good to see you, Chelsea, as a new member here on the channel. Good to see you guys. Looking forward to catching up with you, I think, in 2 weeks at CVX Live. So that'll be fun. Precedent. Wait, how do you say this word? Precedent Prodigy, I think is how you say it. What advice can you give to small creators making unconventional content that isn't mainstream or popular? I mean, like me? like in terms of audience size on YouTube, the number of people who are actively trying to grow a YouTube channel is a very small niche compared to like gaming, vlogging, beauty, music, a lot sports, a lot of other stuff. So I'm not sure mine's unconventional necessarily, but if you're a small channel and you're just making stuff that isn't, for the most part, like super highly searchable and isn't something that a lot of people are going out and looking for, then I think it's kind of best to just think about don't focus on search, but focus on who exactly is my target audience and how do I craft a video that when they see that title and thumbnail, they're like, oh, this is what I've been waiting for my whole entire life, right? And they click and watch for that. And that is how they, discover you, is because YouTube learned who your target audience is and started putting your video in front of the right person at the right time. And so it's a little bit of a slower go sometimes, not always. Like if it's actually really quick if you do a good job at knowing who your audience is and crafting titles and thumbnails for them, even though the content's unconventional and it's not a really popular thing. Like you can still grow relatively quickly doing that, but you gotta that's really what it comes down to, is knowing your audience, who they are, and what will capture their attention, and then crafting titles and thumbnails and content that just get them to click when YouTube surfaces it. A lot of the time, just could be, I would focus probably more narrative-based stuff, like story, as opposed to how-to content that people might be searching for. But it kind of depends on your niche. Even when I look at the title of Prescient, I don't know, Prodigy, I'm not sure what that is. So it's kind of hard for me to give you some examples, but might be one place to start. I don't know. Got new members. Hey, welcome. Marriage for the win. I love that. Marriage FTW. I use FTW like my normal conversational English, or FTL, and people are like, think I'm cursing. They think I'm saying WTF, but no, I'm saying I am saying WTF. They're saying, WTF for the win, not the other thing, So Yeah, good to have you, Kenyon and Michelle, and the rest of you guys here. So, all right, let's. We have a super chat from Madhu. I am a big fan of you from India. Do you have any plan to visit our country? I don't, but it sounds fascinating. I'd love to do that sometime, but I don't have any plans at the moment. Spencer Acoustics asks, is it possible to grow quickly without using Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook? Yes, absolutely. In fact, the channels that grow really quick are not because they're using Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook. It's because they've tapped into the billions of people who are on YouTube every month. It's a common question I get, which is how do I where else should I promote my videos to grow my channel? And how do I get people over to my channel from other platforms? I'm like, you can spend a lot of time doing that, but the juice is not worth the squeeze. It is a lot of work, and for very little reward. It would be far better use of your time to take that time and go make another video that could potentially be discoverable on YouTube. Like, before you start going off of YouTube, there's billions of people there, literally over 2 billion active monthly logged in users on YouTube every month. So take advantage of that. There's lots of people there, and it is far easier to get a video to really start growing organically and getting a lot of traction and seeing results with that than it is to just kind of always be telling people, leave Facebook, leave Pinterest, leave whatever, Instagram, and go check out my new video. What I do instead is I actually just post my videos, upload them natively to those platforms, because as I'm sure your goal is too, like, the goal is to serve people the best, not necessarily get them all your channel. And so it serves them better if you just upload your content straight to Facebook or Instagram or IGTV or LinkedIn or whatever instead. Let's see here. We got Secret Stash Bro Builds. Could you address how monetization affects the YouTube algorithm recommending your content? There are some channels that I have watched for hours on end and still don't get them recommended to me. In other words, any demonetized channel that I watch almost never gets recommended to me. Yet if I watch 2 minutes of a monetized channel, I will constantly keep seeing their content in my feed. So YouTube has told us that there is no correlation, no connection, no anything. Like the algorithms for monetization and the system, search and discovery systems, do not interact at all. And so YouTube, whether or not a video is monetized or not, like, it has no impact on whether or not they surface that video. And even for them to do so would be pretty short-sighted, because their goal is to get people on YouTube longer. So even though your video maybe, for example, they might surface is not monetized, doesn't mean that if it was monetized, the viewer would have seen an ad on it anyway. Like, if you look in your analytics, there's monetized playbacks and there's views and watch time, and so every viewer has a different tolerance for ads. Every video content piece of video has a different content tolerance for ad. Different niches and audiences and geographical locations have different tolerances for ads. So it's really more complex than, is this monetized? Yes or no? Because they don't. And you'll know this in your analytics. Not every playback is monetized. So even on content that is monetized. So their goal is to get people to watch longer. And so if there is a video that isn't monetized, they'll still surface it, and then maybe they'll get the monetization on the next video, and your video can still perform just fine. So there's no connection there. And what you're reporting, saying you watch videos for hours on end, so don't get them recommended. I mean, there's a lot of things that could be happening there. It could be that you're logged into one channel doing it, and then when you came back to YouTube, you were logged into a different channel or account. It could be that YouTube saw you watching content for hours, but maybe it led it down to some like kind of bottom of the barrel conspiracy theory videos or something, and YouTube's like, we're not surfacing those again. Maybe they determined that your satisfaction with the viewing session that you spent 2 hours on was very low, and so they're not going to send you down that trail again. It really, it's not as simple as if I spend a lot of time watching the content, then they'll always be suggested to me. I mean, typically that is what happens, assuming that you're logged in, the same account and things like that, but it's not necessarily like a given, right? So Let's see. We got a couple of super chats. Hi, Tim. Hi. It's good to see you. Chief CMG. Brian's Law Maintenance said, wow, thank you for the super chat. Just because Chick-fil-A on me. Thanks for all you do. Hey, thanks. Chick-fil-A it is. I will have no problem taking you up on that offer. So thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. Let's see here. We got Say Boysian. IT career question. Sorry, $5 super chat. Thank you. Finally hit 100K. Thanks to many of your videos and private sessions. Thank you, Tim. You're welcome. Hey, man. Good for you. IT career questions. Yeah, you've been working on that for a long time. I'm glad to hear that you're getting there. You're hitting traction. Like that, going back to the other question about being in a really small niche that's like doesn't have broad appeal. IT career questions. It's like if you want to get a career in IT, that's the channel you watch. Super niche, probably not that huge an audience, but still hit 100K by being consistent and pursuing over time. So good for you, man. See, another question here that Laura puts in front of me from Presidian. How do you say that word? I don't know how to say it. Presidian Prodigy. I don't know. I honestly don't want to make popular content to become irrelevant, but would we just have to consider making more trendy, popular videos to be noticed? No, because then you'll be noticed by the wrong people. Like, if you're trying to go after a particular audience, like go after that audience. And like for me, how many there's probably, my guess is maybe like 1 million active YouTube creators in the world who speak English and are actively trying to grow their channel. And by active, I mean like they're uploading content more than once a month. And there's high turnover in that audience too. Now, if I wanted to grow the biggest, baddest channel on YouTube, I would not be making this content, right? But this is what I'm passionate about. And you guys are the audience I enjoy serving. So like, and you can, and with a good business model, you can still make it financially sustainable without having to just be like, I got to make whatever is popular and relevant. So I would focus more on the viewer. And if your question really is about money, then I would just think about, okay, how do I wrap a good business model around this that makes this thing viable outside of AdSense revenue? Say Boysen asks, I want to change my niche, but I know it's going to kill the channel. I don't want to start a new channel from 0 too. What's the best channel? I thought of uploading a new niche video slowly. I would agree. Don't start a new channel. If you're going to abandon the niche that you're already pursuing on your channel, right? Like currently, I would just make a video being like, hey guys, it's been great. I've been love talking with you guys about YouTube for the past 6 years. I got bored of that now. I'm going to talk with you now about how to cultivate a colony of ants in your backyard. So if you're down for that, right? I don't know. I just made that up because my daughter this weekend found a big pile of ants and thought it'd be fun to play in them. So yeah, it's just kind of, I would just communicate what you're doing and then just make the switch. And you'll see really high unsubscribes and just expect that. And they'll be kind of hard to grow at first too, because maybe some of your old content will still be bringing in people from your old niche, and then they get confused and like, what is it? So why are you making videos about anthills now? And there'll be some confusion there, but eventually you can overcome that. And plenty of channels have done that, including my own channel, not this one, but other channels. Now there isn't anything wrong with starting fresh either, but if you're going to completely abandon the other channel and or your current niche and audience, then just go ahead and just do it. Let's see here. Kevin Oliak. What's the best use of someone's time to grow a very niche channel? Yeah, the best use is really persistence, but also studying your audience retention graphs and learning how your audience is interacting and responding to your content, the people who are watching it, and learn how to make that better. And then I'd also say focusing on the titles and thumbnails and that hook, not in terms of a search play necessarily, unless it is a highly searchable niche, but more in terms of making that content clickable when someone sees it, which is what I mentioned earlier. Roxy, thank you for the super chat. Does age of a channel affect ability to grow? That's a good question. I've asked that question because sometimes it seems like, and I've heard these stories where people will be like, man, I can't get my channel to grow. And then I just started a new channel, started over from scratch, and it took off, so like YouTube has something against my old channel. And I've asked YouTube about that, a couple different people, and they're like, there's nothing that we know of that would impact that on a channel level. They say that we evaluate videos on a video level, and so each video you publish doesn't die or grow based on the video that you published before. Each video is treated separately and individually. Now that said, your audience that you have might like see a poor video from you and then be less likely to click on the next one, which is obviously a negative signal. But that's not because of the algorithm not surfacing you there. That's just because your audience is just kind of like, not every video is equally valuable to me. I could skip this one, or like the last one wasn't that good. I don't really want to watch it. This next video or something. And so that's typically more like what's going on. But no, having the age of your channel shouldn't matter. Yo-Yo finds, does YouTube take into account the number of comments? And how do you drive people to comment? Nope, it doesn't take that into consideration. You will hear some people say that, but they don't quite understand how YouTube works when they say that. So it's kind of like they'll say, hey, the more comments you get on your videos, the more YouTube will surface your video and promote it. And the better it will rank because people are commenting. It's the difference between correlation and causation, right? So is the video growing because people are commenting, or are people commenting because the video is engaging, thus it's performing better, right? So, and it's the latter, by the way. So, and the reason for that, YouTube says, is because, and same with likes and dislikes and things, like it is a signal, but it's a signal that's really easy for people to gain. Like you can go to different websites and buy 1,000 thumbs ups and comments for like $5 or something, and that would actually hurt your channel. So YouTube doesn't really, if you're trying to grow your channel, getting comments is not going to necessarily do it. Make good content and then people will naturally comment and engage, but it's not because you kept begging them to comment. Marriage WTF for the win, I assume. It could be the other one, but I'm assuming it's for the win. Let's see, Kate and Michelle. Kenyon and Michelle, sorry. We are sharing our story of how we saved our marriage. It's real, raw, and emotional. How do you attract your niche on YouTube, and what is our niche? Well, I don't know, but it sounds to me like it's people who are struggling in their marriage. I mean, kind of like, what's your goal? Why are you doing this? Why are you sharing this story on YouTube? What would be a win for you with all the effort and time and energy and expense it takes to not only shoot and edit, but produce and engage and learn and everything like that? Like growing a YouTube channel takes a lot of work. You guys know this. So I would kind of want to know what your goal is. And then that will kind of help, like, who do you want to watch these videos? Who are you trying to reach? Who's your most ideal audience for these stories? And then use that as the basis of, what's your niche? Is it people who are trying to save their marriage? Is it people who are just recently divorced? Is it people before they get married? Is it people who, okay, I see in chat you're saying worth the fight. So you're saying it's worth the fight, which is good. You should keep that. That's a good creed. And it would be great for you to kind of make part of every video for you. But yeah, so it sounds like it's people, that's your niche. People who are going through divorce and wondering, is the fight worth it? Yes or no? And those are your people. And so there's probably a lot of questions in there you could just answer with your videos that would attract in that niche. Good question. Love it. Good for you guys. I'm glad, one, that you fought for it, but that you're encouraging other people to do it. Talk about a channel that reaches people and changes their life. My gosh. Hope you guys win big time. Thanks for doing that channel. IG with Steve. If you miss your scheduled upload for the week, is that a train smash? Nope, not at all. Most people won't even notice. Have you guys ever noticed when I miss them? We'd love to hear that in the chat. If you have ever noticed when I miss a Thursday. Now, I'm not saying you should just kind of be loosey-goosey about it and don't worry about it, because you will have some diehard people who will, who want that, but and will notice. And I do sometimes get tweets, but for the most part, yeah, I don't think you have much to worry about. Sam B, how do I gain more subscribers? Oh, good question. We could talk about that one for a long time. For now, I would suffice it to say, go to my channel, youtube.com/video creators, and there's several playlists right on the front there. They're going to go more in depth, but high level stuff in terms of what we've kind of already discussed, which is know exactly the audience you're going after, the most ideal subscriber to your channel, and then what value do you propose to deliver to them, be able to articulate that, and then integrate that into all of your content. That pitch for that audience and deliver on that value every single time. That is, if I was going to like oversimplify everything, that's really what it comes down to. Lurking Legend, how do I add suggested videos to my outro? So they're called end screens, and when you're looking at your video in like in YouTube Studio, if you're looking at like after and you're editing it on the right side, I think it's down on the bottom currently, and they're constantly changing things. But there's a thing called end cards. Click on it there, open up a new window, and in there you can add those elements to the end of your video and make those clickable things. Deborah Giroux, how do people really grow fast on YouTube? Good question. I actually have a whole playlist about that on my front of my, I think it's on the front of my channel. Here, I should probably go look. But it's what it really comes down to is how do you hold someone's attention? How do you capture their attention? And what that is really like storytelling. So if you're on my channel, yes, so scroll down like halfway down, there's a playlist called How to Use Storytelling to Grow Your Channel. And those videos are videos I've done with people. Like that very first video there is how we grew by 15x on YouTube in only 4 months. They went from like 20,000 subscribers to over 100,000 subscribers when they unlock some of the story stuff. And she in that video explains exactly what that is. The next video is the secret behind channels that grow fast. And there I kind of break it down, the things that those people are doing, both in terms of what they're evaluating in their analytics and what how they're responding to that and how they're crafting their content based on that. And I give you a few other examples in that, but that playlist is the one that you should go watch. So youtube.com/video creators, and then how to use storytelling to grow your YouTube channel down to that playlist. So it's not very long. Like I kind of mentioned in the beginning, there's only, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos in it. So that's the one you want. Doing exploring, is it getting harder to get promoted through the YouTube algorithm? No, not at all. In fact, people are spending more and more time on YouTube now, which is what their systems are designed to do. And now that people are spending more time, there's actually more and more opportunity to get discovered. But that also means that there's more and more competition. So it's not harder to get promoted through YouTube. What's hard is learning all the skills you need to acquire in order to create the type of content that people will engage with and thus gets promoted. And that comes down to like video production and storytelling. And it comes down to like being able to direct and produce and being a good copywriter for your headlines and graphic design for your thumbnails and having some data analysis skills for your analytics and branding. There's like a lot of things you got to be able to figure out to make it work. So that's the hard part. People think that if they make a video and publish it, they think it's awesome. And when it doesn't get traction, they're like, hey, YouTube doesn't like YouTube's making this difficult for me. It's like, well, YouTube again is just surfacing videos people want to see to the people that want to see them when they want to watch them. And if that's not happening, then you got to go back and evaluate the content. Terenzino C, if you could start a new channel, what would the steps be? That's a good question. In fact, I broke it down into 30 steps called 30 Days to a Better YouTube Channel. So if you go to videocreators.com, click on courses way down at the bottom of the page, there's a link there that will get you to that. It's a little guide. I am currently working on turning it into a video course. It's currently a PDF back when ebooks were a thing, but yeah, so I'm working on that, and even everyone who has bought it in the past gets free. We get a free upgrade to the video course version of it too when I do that. So, but those steps, and I've already outlined a few of them here. It's target audience, value proposition, titles, thumbnails, opening seconds of the video, solid content that holds their attention, gets them to the end, and watches another video. Watch more time on YouTube. So that's kind of like that's the process. Ruben Hernandez, can I use my audience for a sales funnel? Does it work? Absolutely. Man, Laura, you're queuing up these questions, throwing me these low underhand lobs. These are great. Thank you. So last week, I presented some brand new material. Man, by last week, I mean like 4 days ago. I was in Dallas, Texas at Video Marketing World. And my session that I taught was about how to explode sales with your YouTube channel. And that sales funnel with YouTube is exactly what I walk through people there. And so the people who are members of this channel at the training level, which is the $4.99 a month level, whenever I speak at these different conventions and conferences and summits and trainings, events and things, I record my sessions. I put a video camera up in the back, record it, and then I make those available for you guys. So you get all those trainings. And that one is actually already edited. I did it in the airport on my way home. So I haven't published it yet, but I will publish that full, I think it's like 45-minute training about how to set up a sales funnel for your channel. It doesn't kill your channel and shoot yourself in the foot. Because most people, the way they do sales is get off of my channel, go sign up for this thing, buy this thing, click the link below. And as you guys maybe understand, that actually ends the viewing session, which makes it really hard to grow your channel. Because YouTube wants to surface content that keep people on YouTube longer. So how do you get around that? How do you set up a sales funnel that still gets people to your website to download, buy, register, sign up, whatever. And that's what that training is all about. So I walk you through a couple different case studies and scenarios, and I show you how one of our clients actually went from doing about $20,000 in sales every month, doing 5 videos a week, selling on every single video, to only selling once a week, seeing channel growth go up by 500% and going from all in 1 month. And then they went from $20,000 a month to $100,000 a month. It's from selling 4 times instead of 20 times a month. So just because they had a better funnel for it and channel growth. So that's what that is all about. So become a member at the $4.99 level, and you will get access to that probably later today or tomorrow whenever I publish that for you guys. Tim from Wales says, is an intro a must for growth? And doing exploring us, should you pay a person to make your YouTube intro? No, it's not. I mean, if you're talking about the branded intro there, no, it's not a must. I think it's kind of a helpful tool if you do it well in terms of, again, pitching your what you're all about to your target audience, to that first-time viewer. But many channels do just fine without it, so it's certainly not a big deal. Maria Board, what is the reason for a decent audience retention but not many people subscribing? It might be that the only people who are watching are your subscribers. And so they love you. They're watching your stuff, but the content isn't discoverable, or maybe it's a little hard to get into for someone who's never heard of you before. So that's really important too, is like how well can they, can a first-time viewer not only understand who you are, what you're all about, but then kind of get into the nature of your content and follow along. So that might be part. Without having looked at your channel, I'm not sure what else that could be. That's usually what it is. All right, I'm going to do a lightning round here. And welcome all you guys who are members in the Super Chats. Welcome, Brian Les Manning. Good to have you. And Kara Colabella. Good to have you. And love having you guys. It's going to be fun. So I'm going to do a lightning round here for these last videos. Exploring. How do you enable captions and YouTube live stream? It's automatic. Isn't that awesome? It just happens. Marriage WTF. We launched our first video 5 days. We just launched our first video we first launched our first 5 videos in 5 days, and now just every Tuesday. So we try to post more often since we were new. Feel like we got off to a pretty good start. No, I mean, it depends on who you ask. I'd say stick to once a week. That's fine, because it's more important for you to deliver quality over quantity. Now, if you can be at 100% quality all day, every day, or maybe even 80% quality all day, every day, then maybe consider it. But when you're first getting started, there's a lot of things you need to learn. And so that would be the reason for going daily or more frequently, just so you make a lot more mistakes a lot more quickly and get them out of your system. But no. That sounds fine to me. Married Life Vlogs. Man, you got a lot of married channels here. What apps do you recommend to make professional looking thumbnails? I don't know. We use Photoshop, but really anything that lets you edit photos would probably be good. Kodomoso, do you feel it's better to go for an aesthetically pleasing banner or a banner providing information like upload schedule? It should do both, but the main information you're pitching is what your channel is all about and who it's for. So it should be aesthetically pleasing, but don't put a lot of text in there because people aren't going to sit there and read your channel image. They're just going to, like it's at the top. The first thing they do when they get to your channel on their phone is swipe up and they'll start scrolling down. So they will literally only see it probably for like a second. And so you got to do a good job at making it possible for them to quickly pick up when that is. So that is more important than anything else. Rocket Science 0YT, why are my views going down every upload? I got a video coming out about that next month. I actually shot it in the airport while I was going on my trip this past weekend. So that's coming up. Zatar Gardens, does the age of a video affect ranking? No, it does not. Belle Reborn's Nursery, what is considered a good rate of growth? I gained 1,800 subs in 7 months. That's great. There's no good or bad or slow or fast. I mean, every niche, like if you're a nursery, I'm assuming you're talking about like plants and garden nursery. But if you're not, and you're talking about like the reborn dolls, and then, you know, like both of those two are very different audiences in different sizes and different viewing habits and patterns. So there's really not a good or bad rate. It's just like, how are you doing when competing with yourself? That's what it comes down to. Cryptos are us. What advice do you have for a channel that only does live streams? Seems like YouTube recognizes my daily live stream pattern, but does not recommend my videos as much. It only doesn't recommend them because people aren't engaging with it as much as some other content YouTube could surface. So I'd focus on how would you up your game in your live streams? D Brown Shinamahan, I think. Shinhan, how do you get more viewers to subscribe? Yeah, go back and look at those playlists on front of my channel recommended. Does removing comments lower views? Nope. Atara Princess, how many views before the YouTube recommends my videos? I just published a video about that too. Go back. It's called does YouTube is right on the front of my channel as well currently. It's under pro tips for growing your channel's views and subscribers. That first video, the thumbnail says feed the beast on it. And it's does YouTube promote channels that post more? So go check that out. Relaya, is there any data that shows of creating closed captions will help with audience growth? Not a ton. You will obviously, I mean, maybe not obviously, but when you will get higher amount of watch time on your videos if you do that. But because you can look at the captions, people who are using the captions shows you the amount of watch time they give to your videos, and it's always higher than people who aren't using captions. So that's the thing. But in terms of like, does it make explosive growth in your channel? Probably not. Maria Board, as a new YouTuber, how many subscribers should you be gaining per video? Again, it's all about you and your content, your videos, your niche. Everyone's going to be different. So it's just like compete with yourself. Ryan Linder, need help regarding a channel name. I reviewed tech. Should I use my name or something else? For example, why did you name your channel Video Creators and not use your name? Does it make a difference? I chose to go with Video Creators because one, I kind of wanted to be able to maybe build something that I could one day sell if I wanted to, and not having my name attached to it as much makes that a little easier. Two, I want to be able to feature other YouTube experts, like strategists on my team here, and have that make more sense as other hosts maybe join the channel in the future. And three, I just kind of didn't want to make it around my name. Just to be honest, I was kind of like, I want something that could live on. Maybe that my kids take one day if they wanted to. Maybe, I don't know. That's why I kept it generic at Video Creators too. Although to be honest, if I was to go back and do it again, I wouldn't call it Video Creators, because when someone hears it for the first time and they don't know what we do, they assume that we're a video production company. So they say, you know, like, oh, you create videos. Like, no, I work with people who create videos, but a little confusing, so I didn't think about that before, but that's, yeah. Vintage Sound. Can an intro of 10 seconds or less, music and graphics, tend to hurt the audience retention rate in the YouTube algorithm because people are skipping the intro every time they watch new videos? It can if it's 10 seconds. Make it 5 seconds or less, and you'll probably be fine. Brian's Lawn Maintenance. Hey, Tim, what does a positive viewing experience mean to you, YouTube? So like, did I like the video? Did I get the value out of it that I wanted? Did I like keep watching this and want to go back and watch more? Do I feel satisfied? Vintage Sound. Most of my videos are very searchable content from non-subs. Should I focus on converting the subs or getting more views overall? So if you're already getting a lot of traffic from non-subs, I mean, it depends what your goal is for the channel. There's nothing wrong with just having a lot of good views from non-subscribed people. In fact, that's one of the best ways to grow your channel because you're getting a lot of new people there. So it depends what your goal is. If you're just going after AdSense revenue, they don't pay you for subscribers. They pay you for interactions and engaged playbacks on ads. So it's like, depends what your goal is. Going down the pub. Any truth in the rumor that a new channel needs 300 plus subscribers before the YouTube algorithm picks up on your videos? There is no truth in that rumor whatsoever. Yeah, I have seen multiple channels just go from nothing to really fast. I mean, that whole big story, I forget what her name is, but what was that? Just like a couple weeks ago, girl posted 2 videos, went to 1 million subscribers, right? So it happens. Thank you, Cardiff, for being a member. Majority of my views drop off after a minute. How can I improve? I had to see your first minute to kind of give you some ideas, but typically what I would focus my attention on is how does my title, thumbnail set an expectation, and then how do I deliver on that expectation very quickly in the opening seconds of the video. That's what I would focus on. So thank you, Melda and Arma Baby Family, for the super chat, and then our awesome, I get it. Life, booking a 101, my 3-year-old channel, my 3-year channel needs some guidance. I've noticed a significant drop in views and I'm almost at a loss since my comments were disabled. Oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah, book a session, go to videocreators.com, click on consulting at the top, and you can book it with either myself or one of the strategists on my team, and they'd be happy to hop into an hour with you, kind of come prepared with some notes, looking over all your questions, looking at your channel, and be just totally prepared and ready to dive in. In fact, I'm doing one with a creator here in about 2 hours from now. I'll be diving into someone's channel with them. So that's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing it. My team loves doing it too. So if you're interested in doing that, you can totally sign up and we'd love to do it with you. Thank you guys all so much for being a part of this live stream. This was really fun. I hope this didn't go by too quickly for you. I tried to crank through as many of your questions as I could, and I see they're still coming in. Thank you for Laura for keeping up with these. I'm sure her fingers are probably cramping right now, but it's good to have all you guys. And if you're listening to the podcast episode, again, thank you for listening. We'd love to have you join our live stream whenever it works out for you. Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern time at youtube.com/video creators. And all of you guys who are here every week, it's so fun to see you. Thank you guys for being a part of this awesome community. And I look forward to seeing you guys again next week for another Video Creators podcast episode. See you guys then.